has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast. All right, into the final hour on a pain-free Friday with Carver High and Ferrall. We're in New York City, and what a day tomorrow with these 3 college football playoff games, let alone tonight in South Bend. It doesn't get any better than this.
It does not get any better than this. We have wanted an expanded college football playoff for a very long time. Tonight and tomorrow, we will see for the first time how that all looks and how much fun it is going to be. Now, we've got some big spreads, but I think we're going to get some good games either way. It starts tonight, Notre Dame and Indiana. I think I told you last week, it's the first time they're playing since 1991. No. And I think and before that, they hadn't played since, the 40s or something like that? So not a lot of recent history between these two teams in the state of Indiana. Let's start with Curt Cignetti, who has won every possible Coach of the Year award that there is in the country when it comes to college football, gets Indiana into the college football playoff. It's going to be cold. It's going to be snowy. Curt Cignetti, he didn't care about any of that.
I hope it snows 1.5 feet. We have a Canadian quarterback. Did you see him throw the ball against Purdue? I mean, this guy grew up like in the frigid north. He looked pretty good to me that night, so I don't think it's going to bother him very much. And so much revolves around that guy, right? Everybody else will find a way to stay warm, but it's not a concern. It's going to be cold. It's going to be windy. There could be snow on the ground. Both teams have to play on it. We've been practicing outside in the cold for a long time. And we played in it against Purdue. When we started the game, there was snow on the turf. It was cold. It was windy. So we've been through it.
Yeah, this has no bearing on this football game tonight. I don't believe for 1 minute. Now, I went to IU, so it's freezing there in the winter. Indiana's freezing cold in the winter. That from north to south, the entire state is cold. So this is about. Let's face facts. I think Rich summed it up best. Whenever Indiana went up against a good defense, they did nothing. They kicked everyone else's ass. Anyone that didn't have a defense, Indiana put 47 on them. Indiana has a great rushing defense. They allow 71 yards a game. They got a great offense, great defense. But when they play great defenses, which Ohio State and Michigan both have, and so does Notre Dame. Notre Dame's defense is better than Michigan's and Ohio State's. So that's where Indiana's going to have problems tonight, is playing Notre Dame's defense. That's why they're going to lose.
Yeah, and I'll put this to bed as well, because everybody keeps talking about all this snow and all this. And yes, there's been pictures of it snowing in South Bend. The snow has moved out. I just saw Notre Dame football X account tweet out. They just tweeted out a picture. There's not a stitch of snow on the field. It's been covered. They just took the cover off. It's not snowing right now. The field is in great shape for this game tonight. There's not an ounce of snow on it. So they'll be just fine. Here is Marcus Freeman. The way he looks at it, Scotty, the Irish have been playing playoff games since they lost to Northern Illinois all the way back in September. They knew there was no margin for error after a loss like that. Here's Freeman.
Something I've been preaching to the guys, and something that I reiterated this last week, was that we've been in playoff situational games since week 3, and we understand that. And every game that we play in is a version of a playoff game in our minds. And so continue to understand that. Don't have any added pressure for this one that you haven't had the previous 10, right? And so our guys understand that. That's going to be the message that I continue to reiterate, and let's just focus on the way we're preparing more than anything.
Listen, for me, I thought Indiana handled the game in Columbus poorly. I thought they handled the Michigan game well under extreme, different circumstances. They hadn't been in a low-scoring defensive battle the entire season, Mike, and they still found a way to win that game against Michigan. And Michigan could have won that game. They had every chance in the world to beat Indiana and Bloomington, and Indiana got it done. My problem with them is that this team they're playing, I think, is better than both of those teams. And they're playing in Notre Dame Stadium in South Bend. It's raucous. They've been drinking all day, and they didn't perform well in big games. Every game they played, they kicked ass and took names. But when the games got elevated to the next level, the game, do you remember how excited we were for the game in Columbus on that Saturday at the Shoe with Indiana playing Ohio State? It was the worst game of the year. It was a terrible game with all their mistakes and turnovers and block punts. What I want tonight, more than anything else, is this to be a great game. I just want it to be a great game. I don't care if Indiana loses. I want them to represent, to do well, to be in the game. I would love to see them, if they're going to lose by a field goal. Let's say a last-second field. I'd love to at least see them give Notre Dame a problem. I don't want to see 38-15. I think it could be a 10-point Notre Dame win, but I'd rather see a 3-point game or a 2-point game or an overtime game. I want this playoff to start off with a bang, with this game tonight in South Bend to be kick-ass. I want to see a kick-ass nail-biter game to start the college football playoff. I'm okay if Indiana loses. I've never seen Indiana go 11-1, let alone 11-2 in my life. So I'm already happy with Indiana football. They've already satisfied me. If they somehow miraculously upset Notre Dame, I will keel over.
Well, we have been looking at this one for a couple weeks now, and it's been mostly 7.5 has been the number. Did not change today. Dipped under 7, 6.5 now for the Irish. Total, I've actually got down a couple points from our board there. I'm down to 50.5 as we are now a couple hours closer to kickoff. So 50.5 total and 6.5 for the side.
Everyone thinks it's so cold and so miserable and all the snow that isn't there. It's out in the parking lot and on trees. How about we go rogue and go over, and that they both light it up tonight because everyone thought it was going to be an under because of the snow. I'm going to say it's back to normal for Indiana and Notre Dame. They both score a lot of points, and I think Notre Dame covers. So I want Indiana to win. I want them to cover, but I think Notre Dame will.
Yeah, and you know what? I've kind of flipped a little bit on this total as well, especially now that I see that the field is going to be in great condition and it's not going to be a problem. Notre Dame's has got a very good defense, but they've had their problems this year too. I mean, they gave up 35 points to USC. USC stinks. And they gave up 35 points to them last. They let Louisville score a lot of points on them this year. Indiana is a much better offensive team than either of those teams.
Indiana
so I could see Indiana scoring some points tonight. I do think the Irish, this scares me that it's gone under 7, but I think the Irish are going to find a way to win this game by a touchdown. And I know that's going to be right on the number for a lot of people, but it won't be for me now because I'm going in again at 6.5. So I'm going to lay at 6.5 with the Irish, and I'll go with you on the over tonight with the 50.5 for the Hoosiers and the Irish. All right, here we go. We'll come back. And we will do the other 3 games for tomorrow. SMU, Penn State, Clemson, Texas, Tennessee, Ohio State, college football playoff in full swing. You're even going to have Joey Prawns later, so he can tell you who he likes.
You have to be lying
in all of these
now.
games.
You have
Joey
to be
Prawns is going to be
Let
involved.
me ask you this question. You're going to actually play a clip of James Franklin crying about the home crowd already in Miserable Valley?
Setting himself up for excuses. He is already setting himself up for excuses if they lose tomorrow. He's already doing it.
What is happening here?
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was playing, but he had that program was already going there.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, let's listen to the excuse maker in State College.
Yes, let's go and do that. First of all, really fast, they're at the half in Tampa. Awful game. 6-0. Florida leads Tulane.
What is happening?
Florida has outgained Tulane. I think it's like 280-50 in the first half, and they're only up 6 points. So you know what that means. Tulane's going to win some ugly game, 13-10. Get outplayed the entire day and probably end up winning. All right, let's go. Game 1 tomorrow, Penn State and SMU in Happy Valley at Beaver Stadium. Now, we know James Franklin, these are the type of games that he usually wins, but he wants to make sure that if he loses it, he's already got his excuses lined up. You've heard all this stuff about the tickets, how they're giving away the tickets at Penn State, like they're the cheapest they've ever been online, and there's no students there because school's over. All the excuses have been rolled out by James Franklin.
Yeah, I think obviously it's in Beaver Stadium, but it's one of the things I think is really important is the students. Our students make a huge difference for us, and obviously being after finals and things like that makes it a little bit challenging. So that's a little bit of a concern. And then obviously it's a home game for us, but to your point, the college football playoff pretty much runs everything else. So it will not feel like it normally feels to us playing a home game in Beaver Stadium.
How does he know?
But overall, in general, obviously we're glad and fortunate to be home. So we'll take it. This is the structure that exists.
We'll take it.
This guy,
we'll take it.
Wussy.
Is he serious? What does he think? I cannot believe we just listened to that from that guy, that before they even play the game, he's already got it in his mind that there's going to be it's not going to have the same atmosphere as a regular Penn State game. Is there a chance it's not going to be? Probably. Let me listen. All the kids are gone. I get it. There's not going to be Penn State fans all over the place. What are they? Everybody coming up from Dallas for SMU? They've got alumni all over the Northeast that are going to be traveling into Happy Valley.
We'll have 100
Get
fans
serious.
there. We'll have
Get
100
serious.
fans SMU.
I mean,
Everyone
come
and their
on.
brother that lives anywhere near Penn State is going to the game. The students are home for Christmas. So what? Cry me a river. This guy is unbelievable. Now, look, I think he's got a really good football team. They gave Oregon fits. But we all know what happens to him against top 5 and highly ranked teams. He doesn't win. I don't think that they're losing to SMU. I really don't. I'll be surprised. I want to see what Prawns has to say. Let me guess. He's taking SMU.
Me and him haven't gotten into that game much. So I'm going to do that with him tonight. You'll get him first here in 20 minutes. He'll tell you what he thinks of the game. It's 8.5 right now, and 53.5 is the total. I don't consider SMU, and they've had an unbelievable year. I don't consider SMU a big-time team. I just don't. And usually James Franklin and Penn State take care of teams like this on their home field. I think they win the game by 10-plus points. I think Penn State wins.
I'm with you. I'm not going to argue with that.
Next, the middle game. Clemson will visit Texas down in Austin. Now, I didn't want to get Sark. These guys really didn't say anything important, but I thought this was kind of funny. So Sark yesterday, did you see this other kid, Diego Pavia, Scotty, that they gave him another year because he played at JUCO? And his argument was, I couldn't make any money at JUCO, so I should be allowed to have another year of eligibility. So, I mean, once again, this is like Cam Rising and this Bowman. These kids are going to be playing college football till they're 30 years old. Sark played at JUCO when he was a kid. He didn't get those advantages, but I thought Sark's line is the best here, talking about kids that are going to play college into their almost 30s.
Yeah, I totally disagree with the NCAA's determination on this. We chose to go to junior college football, and that's where we wanted to start and play our career. So I don't understand it at all. We're going to have guys 28, 29 years old playing college football. Like, what's the point, man? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I totally disagree with it.
Yeah,
He's right.
There's nothing else to say. Like, there's a point where it is ridiculous that these college football players are playing 8 years of college football. And whether they had injuries or whether they're JUCO or anything else, it's irrelevant. I think there should be a limit, to be honest with you. Frankly, I think 26 should be the high. 25 is bad enough. Kids get out of college when they're 22, 23 years old at worst. And you got some grown man playing college football when he's 27, 28 years old. It shouldn't even be allowed.
It is out of control at this point. It really is. Let's get to the actual game. This is a 4 o'clock East kick down in Austin. Clemson getting 12.5. Total is 50.5, down from that 51.5 that it was this morning. I'm seeing actually, Scotty, a lot of people taking the points with Clemson. That seems to be the public perception here.
Okay, well, I'm still on Texas. It screams a blowout to me. I don't think, frankly, that Clemson should be in the playoff. I know they got in. They helped. Clemson helped SMU get in by blowing that 24-3 lead. And literally SMU kicked their ass the rest of the way. It was 31-all. And then they won on a field goal. So I don't even, frankly, I don't fear them at all. Now, Klubnik's okay. That's it. I think he's okay. I think he's been decent. And I don't deny Dabo's career and his win totals and his 10-win seasons and his titles and everything else. This Clemson team is not the same as his best teams. Texas is loaded, and now people say Quinn Ewers sucks. Well, make up your mind. If he sucks so bad, how come he starts every game? Give me Texas. I think they get it done against Clemson in Austin and win easily.
I'm with you. I'm going to lay it with Texas. You got to remember, in the history of this college football playoff, when there was 4 teams, when there's been big spreads, teams have covered them. There's usually, and now you're adding in, it's a home game in their actual home field to it as well. I'll take Texas, and I'll lay the 12.5 right along with you.
They won't have any problems in Austin filling the stadium, though the kids are home for Christmas.
No, they won't.
The holidays come with a touch of craziness, from unwrapping the latest storylines to the best betting insights. We've got everything you need to crank up the excitement this season. We can't promise there won't be a little yelling.
Play a decent schedule. They have maybe 500.
They just ruined my day.
But we can guarantee a whole lot of fun. Merry Christmas from all of us at SportsGrid.
I mean, this is week 16, and you're throwing this guy in the fire. I know the Giants suck, Scotty, but you got that backdrop. Just give it to Bijan 50 times if Penix isn't looking too well.
And I also think Penn State has an easy track. And I think, to be honest with you, Indiana, people are all going to say they should have never been there. And listen, I just wanted to say one last time before that happens that you can all kiss my ass.
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
And you're not riding with Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Where have you gone? Don't tell me it's your Philadelphia Eagles, Donnie. Who's the team for you?
You see that Vince Lombardi trophy that sits back here? That's a replica. And that's something that the Philadelphia Eagles have won as recent as 2017. The Buffalo Bills are notorious for making it to the Super Bowl and coming up lame, which they might be able to do. But my question is, can the Buffalo Bills even get to the Super Bowl?
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting at the hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
You don't want them to go 13-0 and then lose the first round of the playoffs.
Red.
Yeah, this is their last shot. They don't really have anywhere else to go yet.
Hot take.
By the time I hit, I guess what, Route 33 up here, that ticket's cashing.
Only on SportsGrid.
My favorite thing that I've seen this week was the story about how much the Ohio State fans actually hate Ryan Day and want them to lose so that he gets fired.
Yeah, it is amazing, and we've discussed this a lot. We've played all these clips of him still talking about the Michigan game, even though he's got Tennessee on his doorstep doing push-ups tomorrow night in the college football playoff. But, yeah, the stories are out there. Their fans, they hate him. And some of them, you might say, are rooting for them to lose in the playoffs so that they can whack Ryan Day afterwards. Here he is, believe it or not talking about Michigan, instead saying that the Buckeyes are battle-tested to go on a run in these playoffs.
Well, I think, we've played, some good teams this year. We've had 3 top 5 opponents, and we've gone, obviously, toe-to-toe with everybody and won 2 of them and, came up short, obviously, at Oregon. But, they have good players, too, and they've made plays. But, we know what our capability is, and we want to make sure that we're playing our best game on defense, our best game on offense, and obviously taking care of the football. And then, obviously, on special teams, you've seen us, really make a major impact in the second half of the season in special teams. So we have the capability to do that. I think you've seen that in some of those games as well.
I wonder what's going on behind the scenes in Columbus with this guy, because they do not like losing to Michigan, and it's been 4 years in a row. And I guarantee you that, the knives being thrown at this guy's back have to be just in large-scale numbers. There are backstabbers everywhere, I guarantee you, trying to get him out in Columbus. Meanwhile, he's trying to focus on getting his team ready for the playoffs. A lot of people think that they're the favorite to win it all. They think Ohio State's going to win it all. I still don't believe that. I really don't. If that happens, honestly, I'm going to be miserable. I cannot bear to watch them win a national championship after they can't beat Michigan. Honestly, I can't. And they lost to Oregon. I can't watch them win a national championship. I won't be able to tolerate it. I really won't.
I won't be able to tolerate it either. It would be very tough to take. I think the winner of this game, whoever it is going to be in trouble anyway against Oregon in the next round. Whoever gets through this. Now, this is back to 7.5 for Tennessee at the Shoe tomorrow night. 46.5 is the total. So the lowest total out of our 4 first-round games is in Columbus on Saturday night.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it's too many points to begin with the spread, and I think both of these teams can score. So I'm not afraid of that number. And, what I'm afraid of is them going in there and laying an egg in the cold weather in Columbus at the Shoe and not showing up. I mean, they don't play in cold weather either, and that's just all there is to it. And we'll see if they're man enough to go in there and dance with them. A crappy 7-5 Michigan team showed up because it means something to them. This has to mean something to Tennessee. Like, you're in the playoff. Here you go. Here's your chance, Heupel. Don't screw it up. I just cannot believe, I can't even fathom the number 7.5. That team's too good they're playing.
Yeah,
it's too good.
I'm going to take a shot with Tennessee. I know. It's true. But Ohio State has been pumped up all year long with stuff like this. People, the books pump Ohio State up. I actually think that the key to this game is Tennessee's defensive line. I think they're very good, and they're very physical, and I think that they're going to get in Will Howard's face, and that's going to cause a major problem. Maybe they can get themselves a turnover, things like that, short field. I'm going to go 7.5 with Tennessee, and I will be rooting for them to win the game outright along with it. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I wanted to give you a couple of these fast before you talk to Joe. We were talking about, you sent me the exact matchups for the title game. I have a few for you here. Now, the favorite's actually Texas to beat Georgia at 12-1 and Oregon to beat Georgia at 12-1. Those are the favorites. But me and you like Oregon Notre Dame to potentially be the title game. Oregon to beat Notre Dame is 16-1. Notre Dame to beat Oregon is 25-1. Straight as the exact.
Do you see anything for Oregon Penn State?
Oregon to beat Penn State is 13-1. Penn State to beat Oregon is 20-1. On the exact. It has to be the exact number.
Listen, they lost to them by a tutty. They can play them again and beat them and win the national championship.
The holidays come with a touch of craziness, from unwrapping the latest storylines to the best betting insights. We've got everything you need to crank up the excitement this season. We can't promise there won't be a little yelling.
Play a decent schedule. They have maybe 500.
They just ruined my day.
But we can guarantee a whole lot of fun. Merry Christmas from all of us at SportsGrid.
I mean, this is week 16, and you're throwing this guy in the fire. I know the Giants suck, Scotty, but you got that backdrop. Just give it to Bijan 50 times if Penix isn't looking too well.
And I also think Penn State has an easy track. And I think, to be honest with you, Indiana, people are all going to say they should have never been there. And listen, I just wanted to say one last time before that happens that you can all kiss my ass.
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
And you're not riding with Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Where have you gone? Don't tell me it's your Philadelphia Eagles, Donnie. Who's the team for you?
You see that Vince Lombardi trophy that sits back here? That's a replica. And that's something that the Philadelphia Eagles have won as recent as 2017. The Buffalo Bills are notorious for making it to the Super Bowl and coming up lame, which they might be able to do. But my question is, can the Buffalo Bills even get to the Super Bowl?
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting at the hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
You don't want them to go 13-0 and then lose the first round of the playoffs.
Red.
Yeah, this is their last shot. They don't really have anywhere else to go yet.
Hot take.
By the time I hit, guess what, Route 33 up here, got tickets cashed.
Only on SportsGrid.
A lot of rumors flying around about Joey Prawns and his magnificent dating rap sheet. And he had another one at the Christmas party on his arm. And there was a lot of betting going on whether or not young Joe was going to get some leg tonight for sure. After the party, he went partying a little more at some of the establishments in the area in Midtown Manhattan where they were. There was a lot of talk about, Joe getting hotel rooms and the like. I will refrain from going there because there's too much college football playoffs to talk about with Go for the Two. It's Joe Lisi, ladies, on a pain-free Friday on C2C. What could be better? Joe, let's start with tonight in South Bend at Notre Dame Stadium. How do you think Indiana will do against Notre Dame with that 6.5 burger?
Yeah, I actually took Indiana plus the 7.5, Scotty. I leaned to the under in regards to the matchup. I do believe Kirk Cignetti does have the slight head coaching experience coaching in the FCS playoffs. The week off in preparation, I think, will benefit Indiana more than Notre Dame. And let's not forget, Notre Dame was on a 10-game heater. They won those last 10 games of the regular season by an average margin of about 34 points per game. Now you disrupt that. I think that could benefit Indiana. I think it's a very close game, fourth quarter. In the end, I do give the edge to the Irish. They win a very close game, 24-20.
Tomorrow, you can catch college football today at 9 a.m. Eastern with Joe and all his friends on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Great football coverage on the weekends, unequaled by their peers anywhere on any level. So, Joe, let's talk about tomorrow. It starts in Miserable Valley at Beaver Stadium in State College with SMU coming out of Dallas into the cold weather against Penn State.
I actually like SMU, Scotty. I took them plus the 8.5. I actually like them plus the 250 on the money line. I think the one thing when you look at Kevin Jennings only lost one game as a starter. That came against Clemson last week. He's more athletic. He's the more consistent quarterback. Never seen Drew Aller step up in a big spot. And James Franklin, even though they're at home, you look at the games this year, 34.5-point favorite against Ball State, didn't cover. 28.5-point favorite against UCLA, didn't cover. 18.5-point favorite against Illinois, didn't cover. They played down to the level of competition. And if they can't run the football consistently, I think they're going to be in a four-quarter game. I think SMU potentially could strike the upset. They're only giving up 2.7 yards per carry against opposing offenses. I'm calling for the outright victory, SMU outright over Penn State.
SMU to win in Happy Valley. You heard it here. Not only that, but I said earlier in the show, I'll bet my life Lisi's on SMU. I already said it. Let's talk about the next one. Clemson and Texas in Austin at 4 o'clock on TNT. Texas laying a fat 12.5, 50 and a hook, 51 and a hook, whatever you get the total at.
Yeah, my heart originally wanted to go with Dabo because this is his 7th college football playoff appearance, but I just can't do it. I think Texas is the more athletic offense, the more athletic defense. But I'll say this, even though I lean to Texas in terms of the side perspective, they have one of the best secondaries up with Notre Dame in terms of all of college football. But I think there's points aplenty. I told Carver this. This is my best bet of the weekend. I love over now 50.5. Clemson and Texas. I think this game is a shootout, gets into the 60s. Even though Clemson might score points, it's all Texas. I could see them winning this ball game 40-20, Longhorn route in Austin.
That's what I think, Joe. I'm with you on that completely. And then finally at 8 o'clock tomorrow night on ABC at the Shoe in Columbus, it's number 7 Tennessee against number 6 Ohio State. The Buckeyes are laying 7. 46 is the total. You've heard the stories this week about the Ohio State rebellion against Ryan Day. They want him fired. The fans hate him. Everyone's out to get Ryan Day. It's got to be tough to work under that type of pressure, and don't tell me he doesn't hear it.
I agree with you 100%, and that's why I'm taking the points with Tennessee. 7.5 earlier when this line first came down. It dipped down to 6.5. We saw some money come in Ohio State, but I'll say this in terms of Ohio State. You look at the game that they struggled with against Oregon. The tempo of Oregon's offense got to the front 7 of the Buckeyes defense, and that's what Tennessee brings. Even though Nico and the passing attack might be a little bit inconsistent. They haven't seen a rushing attack like this in the Big Ten outside the game against Oregon. I think Tennessee can run the football with Dylan Sampson. They could score first, put the pressure on Will Howard. And I've said this all season long. Will Howard is good. He's not elite. He's not C.J. Stroud. He's not Justin Fields back in their days in Columbus. He's a beatable quarterback and has turned the football over in critical matchups against Penn State and Michigan. I'm calling for the outright upset, Tennessee outright. Do feel we trend a little bit to the under, but we'll see. It wouldn't shock me if it's high scoring as well.
It's Joe Lisi from the world-renowned Carver and Lisi radio show. Very popular. You see him on SportsGrid TV across the board as well. We got him today going off on college football and the playoffs. Let's go to the next level. Fair enough? I want to ask you, Georgia has no quarterback. You say Notre Dame barely wins the game. What will Notre Dame do to a Georgia team without a quarterback?
I think the problem for Georgia in terms of that game, Scotty, is the secondary of Notre Dame. That has been the strength all season long. They've held opposing offenses and quarterbacks to 48% completion percentage. They've only given up 9 passing touchdowns. They're opportunistic with a plus 15 in turnover margin, 17 interceptions on the year. That's going to be very difficult for the Georgia offense, even though he has game experience, Stockton, to really challenge that defense over the top. So that is the cause of concern for Georgia. They're going to have to run the football, and that has been an inconsistent part of their offense throughout the regular season. So I think if it's Notre Dame and Georgia, I think it's an evenly matched game. I would give the edge just because they have their starting quarterback to Notre Dame, and that's why we see the look-ahead line, Notre Dame potentially a 1.5-point favorite. Not going to be easy. It's a toss-up. I would probably, if Georgia got to a 2.5, 3-point dog, depending on where that money went and how this game plays out tonight, I probably would take Georgia, but it's an evenly matched game.
All right, real quick on these next 3. SMU, you say wins. So how will they do against Boise?
I think they rout them. They're a 6.5-point favorite in terms of the look-ahead line. I think their defense would shut down Genty. I think they would win that ball game handily by double digits.
And Tennessee against Oregon, which is the top seed.
I would take Tennessee. Tennessee, to me, is physical. I think it would be a very close game. I don't know if Tennessee would win it outright because Gabriel is more experienced and more consistent than Nico, but I think they would be within the number. I think it would be a field goal type of game.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Oregon. I think they're flat out better than everybody, to be honest with you. And then Texas against Arizona State.
I love Dillingham and that offense. They run it with Cam Scatterbo. They've won 5 straight. They're a confident group. And as long as you can run the football and win the turnover battle, you're in the game. Texas has played up and down this season, and they've been a little, beat up by more physical offensive lines like Georgia. I would take a shot with Arizona State with the points and on the money line.
Who do you think ends up in the title game?
That's tough because, Georgia, if they get by Notre Dame, I think they would be there. It wouldn't shock me if Notre Dame is there. But again, I still believe Oregon is the most complete team in the country. So we'll see how it plays out. I would say Oregon, but I still have money on Tennessee to crash that party at 25-1.
But you just told me Tennessee would beat Oregon. I'm on Oregon, Notre Dame.
I would, but I need to see it. I need to see it. I mean, I'm taking them at 25-1. I still believe Oregon's more complete right now. But again, 25-1 versus a pick'em type of game, that could be a toss-up. Right now, I would say Georgia would be there and Oregon, but it wouldn't shock me if Notre Dame and Tennessee crashed the party.
I don't see Georgia going without a quarterback. Joe, Merry Christmas to you and the girls. All the best. I'll see you. Thanks for coming on Coast to Coast.
You too.
Have a great holiday.
The holidays come with a touch of craziness, from unwrapping the latest storylines to the best betting insights. We've got everything you need to crank up the excitement this season. We can't promise there won't be a little yelling.
Played a decent schedule. They have maybe 500.
They just ruined my day.
But we can guarantee a whole lot of fun. Merry Christmas from all of us at SportsGrid.
I mean, this is week 16, and you're throwing this guy in the fire. I know the Giants suck, Scotty, but you got that backdrop. Just give it to Bijan 50 times if Penix isn't looking too well.
And I also think Penn State has an easy track. And I think, to be honest with you, Indiana, people are all going to say they should have never been there. And listen, I just wanted to say one last time before that happens that you can all kiss my ass.
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
And you're not riding with Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Where have you gone? Don't tell me it's your Philadelphia Eagles, Donnie. Who's the team for you?
You see that Vince Lombardi trophy that sits back here? That's a replica. And that's something that the Philadelphia Eagles have won as recent as 2017. The Buffalo Bills are notorious for making it to the Super Bowl and coming up lame, which they might be able to do. But my question is, can the Buffalo Bills even get to the Super Bowl?
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting at the hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
You don't want them to go 13-0 and then lose the first round of the playoffs.
Red.
This is their last shot. They don't really have anywhere else to go here.
Hot take.
By the time I hit, I guess what, Route 33 up here, got tickets cashed.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, so we always like to go to Carver High, the judge, jury, and executioner when we have questions of significance. $1,200 to fix the hot tub. Do I do the $1,200 fix, or do I get rid of the hot tub? I got the hot tub for nothing, but it's come back to haunt me, Carver High, with multiple fixes, whatever you want to call them. It's been worked on multiple times. Blown fuses, no heater, this, that, the chemicals, the shock, the chlorine tabs, everything. It just never ends.
Well,
this thing is the gift that keeps on giving the other way.
It comes down to really this. How often do you actually use it? How often do you actually use the hot?
I go in it. Without a doubt.
If it's something that you use regularly and you enjoy, and it's going to lengthen the life of the hot tub, and maybe it might be worth it. You have to decide if that's go to 1,200.
If he says go, we're in 1,200.
Meanwhile, Florida, I guess, is going to kick field goals all day as they're now up 9-0 on Tulane. They've outgained them by 1 billion, and they're only up 9. So that means you just know how this is going to end. This is going to end very poorly. You could just see that right now. It's going to end poorly. You just know that it is. How about hockey?
Everybody loves hockey.
Everybody. Everybody does love hockey. Tampa beat the Blues 3-1 last night. How about the Devils losing in Columbus to the Blue Jackets? That is a fail. The Kings, who are on a monster 7-game East Coast trip, won in Philadelphia 7-3. The Penguins got the overtime winner over the Preds in Nashville. Russ getting involved.
They were down 3-1. They win the game. I was going crazy. And remember, we beat them, the Penguins, for the Stanley Cup as well. The Penguins own the Predators and all of Nashville.
Own Nashville. Chicago beat Seattle 3-1. Oilers beat the Bruins 3-2 in overtime. Vegas beat the Canucks 3-1.
I hit the Chicago Kraken game.
He did the Chicago game.
And the Oiler game.
And the Oiler game. And Colorado won at the Tank 4-2 over the Sharks. We have a pretty good slate tonight. 7 games in the NHL that we can get your thoughts on here. Let's start with the early ones. Toronto is in Buffalo tonight. The Sabres have lost 11 games in a row. Here's what I like in the game, though. I like the over, Scotty. 6-2-2 to the over the last 10 times these guys have played, including last week when Toronto kicked their ass up at their place. So I like that tonight there. Montreal is in Detroit this evening. We have St. Louis in Florida against the Panthers, and Carolina in Washington against the Caps. I'm on the Caps tonight at home against Carolina. Carolina is a mediocre team on the road, 500.
First of all, big interception by Florida. They got the ball back again, up 9-0. Give me the Leafs. I'm with you on the over. I like the Wings and Little Sleezers. I love the Panthers tonight in Sunrise. They have been winning all of a sudden, and the other night 6-1. The other night they win that wild game at Rogers in Edmonton. That was crazy. So I like the way they look right now, and I'm going to go Caps tonight in D.C. in the district, because we had Joe Beninati on the show this week. That's automatic.
Yes. Let's go. Also, the Rangers have lost 7 of 10. They are in Dallas against the Stars. We have Utah, who's won 5 in a row on the road, in Minnesota against the Wild, and Colorado, a back-to-back for them. Shark Tank last night, Duck Pond tonight. Winnipeg did the same thing earlier this week, and they lost that second night in the Duck Pond.
Give me the Duck Pond, boys, and give me the Utah Hockey Club going for 6 in a row on the streets of San Francisco. And then Dallas, of course, at home at the AA Center over the Rangers, who have fallen to pieces. What a shame.
What a shame indeed. I'm surprised you're not going tomorrow. The Penguins are at the Rock. Tomorrow night.
Is he going to the game? He's going to the game. Now, I want to watch the football games.
Yes.
I got the Steelers.
Well,
he's going to leave in the third quarter of the Steeler game to go to a hockey game. That is not happening on my watch.
I did not think of that. You're not leaving the Steeler-Raven game to go stretch over to the Rock to watch the Penguins and the Devils.
Senators on the 11th and maybe the Lightning on the 12th. I've already spent $400 once. I'm spending $400 twice. I'm spending $400 a third time. And now you've convinced me to fix the hot tub at $1,200. I'm going broke just knowing you.
It's just money, they say at the end of the day. It's just money is what they try to convince you of. How about some college rack for this evening? There's not a lot of great games, but there is a few that I'll bring up to you, including St. John's, Luke's squad heading to the Dunk in Providence tonight, where they are 6.5-point road favorites up there. And then you have Dayton into Cincinnati. The Bearcats -2.5. There's a top 25 game for you this evening.
Yeah, now listen, high risk, but Providence and 6.5 at home. Give the Johnnies a game. What do you think? And then I think Cincinnati will win that game at home. Dayton has been winning by the skin of their teeth in Dayton. Now they go to the Queen City to face the Bearcats, where they will lose.
They probably will lose. There are some decent games this weekend. I know Purdue plays Auburn on Saturday. Ohio State plays Kentucky. There's some pretty good games on Sunday as well, as I know that. Actually, the Sunday schedule isn't that great, but there's some good ones on Saturday throughout college rack. So you have that. But we're going to be too busy with football on Saturday. There's no chance we can get involved in that college rack.
Yeah, but Purdue and Auburn is an awesome game on Saturday. UCLA, North Carolina, Cal and San Diego State. You got Ohio State, Kentucky, Oregon, Stanford. There's all kinds of great games all weekend in college basketball, of which we'll watch none of because of the college football playoff and Pain Day NFL Skinny.
We will come back, and in leftovers, I will give you some baseball notes, including the guy I wanted to play first base for the Yankees, not going to be playing first base for the Yankees.
The holidays come with a touch of craziness, from unwrapping the latest storylines to the best betting insights. We've got everything you need to crank up the excitement this season. We can't promise there won't be a little yelling.
Play a decent schedule. They have maybe 500.
Oh, that just ruined my day.
But we can guarantee a whole lot of fun. Merry Christmas from all of us at SportsGrid.
I mean, this is week 16, and you're throwing this guy in the fire. I know the Giants suck, Scotty, but you got that backdrop. Just give it to Bijan 50 times if Penix isn't looking too well.
And I also think Penn State has an easy track. And I think, to be honest with you, Indiana, people are all going to say they should have never been there. And listen, I just wanted to say one last time before that happens that you can all kiss my ass.
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
And you're not riding with Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Where have you gone? Don't tell me it's your Philadelphia Eagles, Donnie. Who's the team for you?
You see that Vince Lombardi trophy that sits back here? That's a replica. And that's something that the Philadelphia Eagles have won as recent as 2017. The Buffalo Bills are notorious for making it to the Super Bowl and coming up lame, which they might be able to do. But my question is, can the Buffalo Bills even get to the Super Bowl?
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting at the hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
You don't want them to go 13-0 and then lose the first round of the playoffs.
Red.
This is their last shot. They don't really have anywhere else to go here.
Hot take.
By the time I hit, guess what, Route 33 up here, that ticket's cashing.
Only on SportsGrid.
Well, I was with you, Carver High. I wanted him, but now he's the enemy. Your boy, Christian Walker.
He is now the enemy. Pretty, honestly, for baseball standards, a pretty cheap deal, too, right? 3 years and $60 million. I get it. He's 34 years old. He's not as young as some of these other guys that are signing, but Christian Walker does go to the Astros. 3 years for 60. I read, or some of the reports, I know Bob, who we have on all the time, Bob Nightingale, said that the Yankees really weren't, they didn't want to give up any draft pick compensation because he's one of those guys where you'd have to give up compensatory picks, etc. if you signed him. So Yankees going cheap at first. They're in the mix for Goldschmidt, Carlos Santana. I mean, so they're going to go cheap over there on the corner. We shall see. The A's signed Gio Urshela to a one-year deal. The A's are trying to make sure that half their roster is not from the witness protection program. So they're actually signing a couple of names as they go and play in Sacramento next year. The Phillies signed Max Kepler, one-year deal worth $10 million. The Nationals signed Mike Soroka, one-year deal worth $9 million. So some guys wanted to have homes for the holidays, and sure enough, they made sure to make that happen. Nicky Dunlap named the PGA Tour Rookie of the Year.
Whoa.
Congratulations to the pride of Alabama and Tuscaloosa. He goes in there for him. He won 2 tournaments this year, so I'd say that was a pretty good rookie season for Nicky Dunlap going through. And how about this story that I put on my side of the pile today, which I thought was unbelievable. Did you see this 40-year-old guy who was arrested for stalking Paige Beckers?
Yeah.
He pleaded guilty to a second-degree charge. He gets 1 year suspended sentence and 3 years probation. He's not allowed near any UConn facilities. He's not allowed near any WNBA facilities. He's not allowed near, I'm actually surprised he didn't get more, but I guess he never actually made any.
Why don't they just put these people in prison? How can you ever trust stalkers? They never stop. They never give up. It doesn't matter what you do to them. Slapping them on the wrist doesn't work. They will come back to haunt you every time. And typically what they do for the Shangri-La is they kill somebody. The stalker eventually gets his prey and kills somebody. I mean, they handled this very poorly as far as I'm concerned. Please stay away from the program. Please stay away from women. Please stay away from the WNBA. Yeah, good luck. Good luck with that. All right.
Good luck with that.
Man in Florida stabs his ex-girlfriend 70 times ahead of their domestic abuse hearing. He wasn't having it. He dies, however, in a unbelievable car crash, fleeing the murder scene of his ex. He didn't want to go to court. He didn't want domestic abuse charges, so he killed her 70 times. He stabbed her. And then when fleeing, he ends up in a car crash. It's like a movie, this story. Wacko shoves an elderly man onto the New York City train tracks in a surprise attack and then says afterwards, quote, "I didn't do it," end quote. Too bad they have him on film doing it. You're finished. 23-year-old Florida gamer shot his dad dead for riding his ass about getting a job. The kid wasn't having any of his dad's nonsense about get off of your lazy ass and get a job, loser. Boom, he put 3 in his chest. That's the end of that problem. Disgraced ex-lawmaker Anthony Wienerschnitzel officially files to run for New York City Council years after his many sexting scandals and freakish sexual behavior. Who in their right mind would vote for Anthony Wienerschnitzel? Are you kidding me, this perv? Allegedly. Teen volleyball player dies after an ambulance fails to show up when she collapsed at practice. They couldn't get the ambulance to the school on time. What is happening here? Somebody's dropping dead and they couldn't get the ambulance over to the school? CDC warns of carfentanil, an opiate that's 100 times more potent than fentanyl, taking over as top-shelf drug from fentanyl. You've got a new drug of choice on the street. GTD is next. Enjoy the college playoffs. Get my app. Just search Ferrall. It's badass. We'll see you Monday at 3 on Coast to Coast.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parody. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
When you look at Marcus Johnson, when you look at Nikola Jokic, these aren't guys that are big, super athletic, dunking and jumping over people. These are just guys that are clean, skilled footwork, and do things below the rim that make the everyday guy look like it'd be like, I can do that. But you can't, and neither can I.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.